Okay, hello. We are now live. Everyone say a nice big hello.
A nice big hello.
Hello. So, listen everyone, this is the Geek Battle show and you're watching us live either on the Improv Xstreamed YouTube channel or the Geek Battle YouTube channel. Head over to www.xstreamed. No, that's not the right thing. YouTube.com/@geekbattle and smash that subscribe button, or do check us out on the Extreme Improv YouTube channel. So, on tonight's show, we're going to talk about a lot of geeky stuff. We're going to talk about some movies, some video games, and, well, to be honest, we have to deal with the elephant in the room. It's on your face, Capelthave. Say hello to the people. Henry Cavill's mustache! It's back! It's back! It's in the room. I have set off the Henry Cavill alarm early myself because we have to do it. Because it's right here. So let's find it. Let's find the mustache in question. There you go. Cap, right, you're right near it. There you go. There we go. So Cap, is this in honor of the mustache?
Yes, no, it's mostly because I'm revealing my true identity. Yes, of course, I'm from the planet Voltrum. It's the land of strength, speed, and also funny mustaches, apparently. So, hail.
No, hail. I love the mustache. Like, you could have said it's for Movember, that you're raising money for charity. You could have done all of that, but no, you have other reasons. Who is the guy behind you out of interest, Cap?
Yeah? Sorry?
Look, behind you, who is that?
That is Thrag, the Grand Regent of the Voltrumites, who will make an appearance, I believe, sometimes in the future. He's much more stronger than Omni-Man, but I would say his mustache is not that impressive like mine or Omni-Man's, I would say.
No, you've got a very impressive mustache. I now officially have the least mustache out of any of us. It's terrible. Right. Capelthave, I'm giving you a point for your mustache, so there you go.
Yes, but I also have a geek fact.
Okay, go for it. What's your geek fact?
Actually, the movie Shrek, right, it was kind of inspired by the French wrestler Maurice Tillet and his wife Olga.
Wait, the French Angel? Yes, I know. Yeah.
That's me.
I'll bring it up. I'll bring up the French Angel. You see this guy? He does look like Shrek. French Angel wrestler. You wait until you see this guy. He is Shrek.
Cap, was that the original Shrek from the story that it came from, or was that subsequent?
No.
Okay, you see,
movie one? Okay.
Shrek was inspired by this guy.
Me.
Actual Shrek. I mean, unbelievable. And look, there he is with Princess Fiona.
Yeah. Again, his wife is hot.
I don't know if that was his wife. I think he's about to climb the Empire State Building holding her, to be honest. Look at that guy, you know, there we go.
Yeah.
That's... Wow.
Yep.
It's uncanny.
Tip of the teeth.
Yeah, okay, you definitely get a point for that, Cap. So that's 1 point for Capelthave, 1 point for the mustache. So...
I think we should keep them separate.
I have.
They
They're
are
on the
distinct
scoreboard as
entities.
separate entities. Right. So, if I'm going too far with this, just say. And well, it's too late now. I've done it. Gerald, say hello to the people.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
I think we should all have mustache. I think we said this before, and like only Cap has actually come through for us. Right. Gerald, say hello to the people. Give us some random geek trivia fact, and we will.
Hello, everybody. So, my random geek fact, and I actually did double check it to make sure it wasn't just a singular thing and it was some crazy nonsense on the internet. The first Oscar Awards or Academy Awards was in 1929, and it was not televised, obviously, and it was not on the radio either. And the total ceremony ran for 15 minutes. That was it.
Wow.
Speaking
Okay.
of the speeches,
Yeah.
they were like kicking off them for 1 second. Hi, get out.
Here's your award. Get out.
Right. So no, I definitely get a point. Do you know what won Best Oscar the first time?
I do not. Let me see here.
Google searching. He's Google searching.
Well, you have to nowadays. Right, okay,
Hang on.
whilst we're trying to bring this up,
There we go.
David, say hello to the people and give us some random geek trivia.
Alright, so I'm Dave MC from Paris, France. I'm not evil Dave, despite my goatee. My geek fact is today, 1963, the first episode of Doctor Who, An Unearthly Child, was aired. But also,
Wow.
another geek fact for you
Yeah.
is there are 5 people a year that are killed by ostriches.
Well,
Only
this
5.
is not quite ostrich battle, but I'll give you a point anyway.
I don't care. It was worth it.
Aren't like
This is what happens when-
hippopotamuses like the most dangerous animal in the world? Is that a thing?
No,
When he killed 4
it's
people.
not. It's not true.
No. The
Hippo.
animal that actually killed 4 people is the buffalo, the Black Death.
Not true.
Hippopotamus is also in that list.
Mosquitoes.
It's mosquitoes.
Okay.
1.4 million people a year die from mosquitoes.
Wait
But
a
they are
second.
insects, not mammalian.
I'm not sure about this, guys,
Okay,
because
so if
I
you're-
have definitely seen some
mammalian
very
may
hungry
be correct,
hippos. So
They're,
they are man-eaters.
they're dangerous.
They are
no.
dangerous.
I
Just don't
stand
carry those
corrected.
little
Oh my.
pebbles with you.
Yeah.
That's what you need to tell the American tourists that go to Africa. Then, instead of having your socks up to your knees, you should say, "Don't walk with pebbles in your pocket."
Exactly.
That's my new catchphrase. Don't walk with pebbles in your pocket. Okay,
No,
so
that's my line.
So, David, just to loop back, because I know you've seen this movie, the outstanding picture, the first ever, was Wings. And I'm sure none of us have ever seen it. So
Wings. It was called
I've
Wings.
seen them on the bird.
Yeah. I've seen a bird. Right, I've not even seen...
With-
Right. The bird.
Oh, Gary Cooper was in it. So
Oh, good old Gary. I went to school with him. Now, there's a bunch of stuff that we need to talk about on the show. It can't all just be about hungry hippos and Cap's mustache. But we guys, have you seen stuff? Today I have seen stuff. Like yesterday I've seen stuff. Like there's this thing so you can see as many films as you want at the cinema. And I've gone all in on it at the time of the writer's strike and actor's strike, so there are no films. But I've seen Thanksgiving, I've seen the new Hunger Games film, I've seen, what's that one I said, Killers of the Flower Moon, and I've seen the Marvels in the last week. I am like so drenched in new films, like I need a towel, basically. What have you guys seen?
I did see an awful movie called Fear, which is a horror movie, and I believe it came out in 22 or 23, but it's pretty bad. It's supposed to be sort of about COVID and horror-ish and whatnot, but I do not recommend it.
Yeah, because that's what terrifies people nowadays. It's like not vampires, not zombies, or some sort of train where everyone, the children are grounded into paste. It's like, no, COVID. What do we do if we don't wear a mask?
Yeah.
What is this show about children ground into paste?
I made it up. It's
Oh, okay. Well, supposedly there's ghosts and stuff too, but it's not that good.
Where did you see this film?
It was on one of the streaming ones. I don't remember if it was Hulu.
Okay, but it came out with... Yeah, okay, sure. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I've seen Oppenheimer.
You've seen Barbenheimer?
I mean, I haven't seen Barbie yet, but
Ah. Okay,
I've not completed the meme.
okay, so what was Oppenheimer like? No spoilers, please. I've heard it's got an explosive ending. This is in such poor taste, but, anyway. Go for it. Look, if Family Guy can make, like, a Titanic episode, then I can do this. Right, anyway.
I mean, I think, it's the kind of spoiler. There is actually one twist, but it's so nerdy in a sense, like, history buff's gonna get a kick out of it, but they might even blame for some inaccuracies, I think. But other than that, we are just, ooh, that guy, scientist, I probably heard of him in the textbook, but I don't remember. But then Einstein pops up, and they're like, oh my god, it's like, Captain America coming in the Infinity
Spoiler, Einstein showed up. Oh my goodness.
Einstein,
I can't
can
watch
you
it
believe
now.
it? I mean, I was shocked.
Captain America's in the movie as well, apparently.
Ah, look at this. Okay, but what would you give it out of 5, Cap?
Well, 4.5.
4.5. I do really want to see it. I just, literally never got a chance to during the summer.
Because here's the thing, it's not like Christopher Nolan's normal films. There's no action, there's no, big twist or anything like that. It's just, in a sense... It's more
That's
like a
the
documentary.
twist.
But
There is
I
no
would
twist.
say this is the most exciting documentary about physics that I saw, I would say. Like, I was like, John, I see you. What's going to happen next?
Dave, I think you moved and suddenly we're hearing...
Yeah, hang on, that's me. Bear with me, I'm gonna change headphones.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, to touch on, and I don't necessarily think it was physics specifically, but did you hear that Nikola Tesla's, I guess, last laboratory that was standing, which was located in Long Island, has burned down?
Wow. Hey, why was he named after the car?
No.
Oh.
I had that backwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, so how did that burn down? We're literally just covering the news now.
Yeah, not exactly sure, but it was a couple days ago, and most of it was brick and whatnot, so it could have been, any number of things, but I guess it was, it flamed up pretty good.
I blame Thomas Edison. Didn't they have a rivalry?
I think so. Brave, definitely.
Yeah.
He's still conspiring against it.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting about it is, I don't know, we'll say it was roughly 7 or 8 years ago. The guy he goes by the Oatmeal, he's a cartoonist, webcomic and stuff, comics, and he actually raised money to buy the land that it was located on, as well as the lab, to try and eventually turn it into like a museum type stuff, and well, I guess that's now definitely changed.
Do you think someone's eventually going to take credit for burning it down, or somebody else is?
Yeah, I don't know.
I medicine's long time.
Just some guy's going to tell us, I did it. No, it was me. I did it.
Yeah. Okay, so guys...
Although there is
there's
a myth about, like, Nikola Tesla being born on the exact time when the thunder struck. I saw it in some YouTube video or something where they...
On the exact time that thunder struck?
Yeah,
that's AC/DC, mate.
Yeah.
Could be. But, like, that's one of the... Like, it's considered a bad omen or something like that. But I feel like people make up stuff for smart people in a sense, I would say. It sounds more far-fetched than it is. Even with Oppenheimer, there's a thing with the apple that he tried to poison one of his professors. Although, there is actually precedent that actually
Did you flick over to the Disney Channel and you're watching, like, Snow White instead? Like, who's this old hag?
I can't make memes out of Oppenheimer. What's the Disney Channel showing?
Yeah.
Multiverse. Oppenheimer.
But here's the thing, that's actually a true thing, because apparently he had to take counseling afterwards.
Wow.
Even though he spoke very highly of his professor. That's the thing, he actually did like him. I don't know why he tried to, right?
So, guys, just to touch on, like, some of, like, the things that have been, like... Well, we spoke earlier in our group chat about Wonka, and Gerald, I think you revealed that it's set to make $25 million on a budget of what?
Yep, they're projecting now that it's set to make $25 million on a budget of over $125 million.
That is
God's
insane.
sake.
Yeah.
Like,
and I guess it's gotten the reviews and previews that they've been giving. It's just gotten ripped left and right.
I am definitely going to see it because, again, I can see every film now. I have the power. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't. I saw a trailer for it, and who's playing Wonka in it?
Timothy Chalamet, however you say it. Chalamet, sorry.
Yeah, Chalamet. Okay. I saw the trailer. He is, Cap, whether you can accept this or not, better than Johnny Depp in that role.
No!
Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka is one of the very worst misguided performances in cinema history.
Although I would say I had to defend it because it's a 2000s film. That's the only reason why I'm defending it. But I would say I did not enjoy Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory at all. I didn't even think that was a cool idea. I just watched it because it was on the holidays. But
I mean, it was from an era where Johnny Depp was making a few errors with his choices. He did Willy Wonka, the third Pirates film.
Ranger.
He married Amber Heard, loads of mistakes. So lots of things that, he can regret and that we have to live with. But,
him as Willy Wonka was a choice. I think that was just when Tim Burton was just putting him in everything.
Yeah.
He still does. He still does.
Well, he's not allowed, though. He wasn't allowed to put him in the Addams Family, was he?
No.
I thought it was okay, but again, entirely separate and standalone from the original Gene Wilder Willy Wonka, because I don't think, there may be somebody that surpasses that, but I think Gene Wilder was just dead on perfect as Wonka, and I thought he did a fantastic job. So,
well, I thought Timothy Chalamet, he even said some of the same lines. Clearly, this is meant to be a prequel to Gene Wilder's portrayal, and he just seemed bored in the trailer. He was like, I can't remember what lines he kind of quotes. He was like, scratch that, reverse it. And something like this that Gene Wilder says. And whereas Gene Wilder's got this sort of it's like he's thinking the whole time. He said something and he said it quite quick. Scratch that, reverse it. Timothy Chalamet was just like, I said this thing, I'm going to say it quite slow. Scratch that, reverse it. And it's like, come on, you sound bored, right? And then literally, I watched...
Have you seen Doom David with him?
No, I started. I couldn't stomach it.
I mean, he was the main character, but he was literally the boring character in the whole film.
Yeah.
So that's his shtick.
His shtick is he's the boring guy. I watched the Hunger Games, the new one. We can speak about that. But Peter Dinklage is in it. And he was the one that said why is, and this is so funny. It's such a Peter Dinklage thing. He complained about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and Rachel Zegler is in this Hunger Games movie, right?
Yeah.
And so he complained about that. But then when it comes to Wonka, they literally have Hugh Grant playing an Oompa Loompa, and he stays silent on it. It's like Hugh Grant is playing a role which someone from your community could play, and you're not complaining. And then when it came to Snow White, he literally opened his mouth, and now CGI goblins are playing the roles in that film.
It was kind of a hypocritic move, I would say. He already did play a famous dwarf in Game of Thrones.
And he played a giant in Thor, in Avengers or whatever, which clearly was done ironically.
But if we go back a bit further, it's like he was in Elf, and the joke was that Will Ferrell's character Buddy, he thought, oh, he's an elf.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
a joke. It was a caricature.
Yeah,
and it's like, but come on, dude. It's like you're isolating your own community by saying this. Why would you do that?
It's probably because he's okay.
Could it be?
Okay, go on.
Could it be that he saw the other Disney remakes, and when Disney came for him, he was like, "Oh shit, I don't want to be part of this." He made up this whole story.
So he just bombed the whole thing.
Just saying to Wee Man in that, run for the hills.
Here's the thing. So.
Oh wait, no, hang on. Run back to the mine.
Other than the video game Destiny, which Peter Dinklage played an AI voice in it, and people said that he sounded so bored that they actually cut him from the game and replaced a different voice actor to play the part. He's really good. In the Hunger Games film, he's really good in this film. And just to speak on it, who here has seen the previous Hunger Game films? I'm going to take the guess that none of you have seen the new one. No, you've not seen it, Dave. Okay. Well, I like the concept of it. Basically, people are randomly chosen and they have to go into a war, last man standing sort of thing, and then whoever wins something for their town and all that.
I know about the Hunger Games, I just don't watch the Hunger Games.
It's alright. This film, I enjoyed it quite a lot. It's a prequel. Hang on. Yeah, go for it.
There we go. I'm ready.
Yeah, okay. It's a prequel. And basically Donald Sutherland's character, it's like the Hunger Games version of Cruella, if you saw that film even. So it's like, or any of these Disney films where they take the main villain and then they're doing the origin story of it. And it was a lot better than I expected.
So it's Snow's origin story.
Yes, President Snow or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's 50 years or so prior to the trilogy.
Yeah, but the weird thing in it, speaking about Snow White and that, is that Rachel Zegler plays the main female character in it, and she isn't the new Katniss Everdeen, because it really isn't her story. She's important to the story, but it absolutely is President Snow's origin story. So it was a really interesting choice that they made. I don't know how it's doing at the box office, but my understanding is that this wasn't a one and done idea. which if they didn't make any more, it didn't end on a specific cliffhanger, so tiny spoiler there. But from what I gather, it hasn't done super well, but I'll check on that.
One thing I would say, though, is that, going on with your point, I'm like, when was the last time we had a villain that was a villain just for the sake of being a villain? Not humanized in any way, no sort of redeeming quality, shall we say.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. They always, nowadays, are trying to make, like, I don't know which the first they did this with, but I know, like, with General Zod in Man of Steel, they're like, we're giving this whole logic, rather than just dominate, it's because he wanted to save his world and stuff like that. And since then, it feels like every villain, like Thanos, it's like, I'm trying to save my world. Every villain is actually the good guy nowadays.
I think that's the Joker's thing. I think when Dark Knight came out and did a fantastic job, everyone was like, oh, we need a reason. We need to empathize. Although for the Disney one...
Wait, what was the Joker's reason?
Joker was trying to prove ethics and social norms that we have in society are just, pointless. We're all animals. We are all ugly as him.
But in that argument, Cap, he did kill people and showed no remorse for it. He did it because he wanted to do it. Yeah, he's a psychopath. He did it because he could. Not because he was like, oh, I can kill him, but I'm not going to. He said, no, I'm going to kill you because I can.
Yeah, but I would say he was the first one. He kind of made up sympathetic stories for himself, although we know he was, like, lying. But the first time when he tells a sympathetic story, we were like, oh, maybe that's why the Joker is killing people. But then
No. The Joker is a psychopath through and through. Like Gerald said, that he doesn't need a reason to, in the comics and in films. He doesn't need a reason to kill people. He just kills people.
I would say in the Dark Knight he does have a reason. He does do it to make a point. So I would say it's not exactly like the comics. Maybe that's why Marty doesn't like it. So I would say in here, most of the time Joker kills to make a point. Otherwise, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I would say the only villain kind of that I've seen in the last few years that's actually had no redeeming quality is Jack Horner from Puss in Boots.
Oh yeah.
Because he has had, like, I think that Death's a villain. Well, no, Death is everywhere, so he's obviously just he's a background villain. But yeah. Jack Horner is the villain for the sake of being the villain. He's like, oh, I do bad things because I want to do bad things.
Yeah.
I love the fact that in the movie, the conscience, the cricket realizes that, oh my god, you're an irredeemable monster. Oh yeah, big news.
Yeah, what else is new?
Well, look, I've dealt with car insurance recently, and I can say that they are villains with no purpose to it. But other than that, something this will segue onto, Dave especially, have you seen the Doctor Who Children in Need or Comic Relief special with the new version of Davros? I'd be very interested to know your take on this, because I'm not happy, to be honest.
No, neither am I.
Okay, I'm going to bring it up so you guys can see what has happened to this character. So let's bring that up. It's just unbelievable. It's just a dumb idea.
I don't know what Russell T Davies was smoking when he thought that this was a good idea. I don't know if it was bath salts or, Mr. Kipling. I don't know what it is, but
I like the fact that Dave's face, like, going through the whole stages of depression one by one.
7 stages.
Well, I go into denial first and it's like, this isn't a Doctor Who thing, it's just a children need, who cares? The anger that comes out and saying, what the fuck are you doing?
Okay, so let's get this. A stupid radio time's coming up trying to destroy me.
And then the depression thing comes out in cake.
Let's bring this up so we can show you guys what's happened. It's not like they say, like, this is not my Davros. So this is Davros. This is what you expect from Davros. He is like... No, that's actual Davros. You're laughing at the wrong bit.
That's Davros, Cap.
You're laughing at the wrong bit. You're laughing at the wrong bit.
It makes me laugh.
Okay.
Explain. Tell me afterwards what made you laugh. I'm gonna love this.
Now listen. Now here's the thing. You go into a room. This guy's in there. You're gonna be scared shitless, right? You go into a room and this guy's there. You're gonna be like,
It's the food critic.
you're gonna literally
It's the
be
food
like,
critic.
hang on, you're gonna literally think.
Food critic from Ratatouille.
It's who? Who is it?
Food
It's
critic.
It's Egon from Ratatouille.
Oh, it might well be. I'll bring that up as well. But look, this guy, you're going to crap yourself if you went into a room and saw this monster. This guy, you're going to think, oh my god, I've got a parking ticket. He looks like a traffic warden. Okay, let's bring up, you say Egon, as in Spengler, from Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this
Not
comparison.
Spangler, but
Oh, Ego. His name's like Ego or something.
yeah, I think it's
Ego Anton. Ego
Oh my
Anton.
god, oh my god, you were right. Oh my god. Hang on a second, this is unreal. Okay, let's open picture in its own window.
Thank you, Cap. That's made my evening.
Open image in new tab. Let's make this large if I can. Right.
Oh boy. Oh boy. For those of you listening on the podcast, Dave is currently looking up Egon Anton from Disney's Ratatouille.
Okay, so here we see the new Davros.
And
here is Davros again.
Davros!
It's the exact same
Davros!
character. That's insane. Look, it's got the dark under the eyes, the slicks back hair, the eyebrows are the same, he's wearing black. It is literally the exact same character.
the only difference is the scarf. He doesn't have a scarf on.
Oh, yeah.
Now, okay, so look, guys, I don't want us to necessarily get into the territory where we can make all decisions for every marginalised community in the world, after speaking about Peter Dinklage and everything. But apparently the logic behind this is they said that it was the opinion that too many villains, I've heard this over the recent years, have got like a disability in some way. And it's like, not all people, they're going like the idea that every person that's got a disability is put over as a villain. Not every villain has got a disability, but it's in the, like, the idea that, oh, Scar is a Scar, so therefore he's the villain, or Scarface, or whatever. Just because the Daleks happen to be, like, in, like, little pods that go around, like they're little salt pepper shakers, like that. He's in one, so they start saying it's because he's a wheelchair user. A Dalek base isn't a wheelchair. It's not even remotely a wheelchair.
Can I just correct these imbeciles who say this? The chair that Davros is in is not a wheelchair. It is a life support chair. If he gets out of that chair, he dies.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, no, that could go into their logic of saying that he's disabled.
He's not disabled. He's a fully functioning human being. Well, Khaled,
Hang on a second. If you're on life support, I'd say you're not fully functioning. In all
He's
fairness.
fully functioning, David.
Right. Let's bring this up because this is the direct comparison.
But I
would
guess
not.
my question is also the third eye he has, the blue.
Well, it's
eye.
actually.
Yes.
So look. Okay.
Can I
so
explain?
look.
Am I allowed to explain?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. So, the reason Davros is in the chair in the first place is because he was in a Khaled science. Shut up. He was
It's
in
not a wheelchair,
It's not a wheelchair. He was in a scientific bunker, and during a Thal attack, it exploded. To which he lost his lower body, his skin was disintegrated, and he lost his eyes. The blue eye in the centre of his head, that is a synthetic eye, which is attached to his brain. So he doesn't see, like, clear vision like you or I do, but he sees everything as a Dalek would.
Okay.
So he's kind of like a proto-Dalek.
Yeah.
So he's in a wheelchair and he has glasses.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look. But
So he's visually impaired and physically disabled.
I will tell you what.
Not glasses, he has a glass eye.
You got a glass eye.
I tell you what though, even if they made some of this change, why didn't they just, if they said, well, look, we want it, this is the prequel version or something like this, or some change in times meant that something. Why is he just a dude? Why is his face not got the makeup on at least?
But the thing is, they covered this in. I'm gonna say it. You're the thing you hate me saying, David. The Big Finish audio story. They covered Davros's origin. He did not design Daleks when he was walking. He designed Daleks when he was in the fucking chair.
Yeah.
Which sort of makes sense, but I mean, you can see
Are you calling it a chair?
the style and everything.
Shut up, Cap.
Like, I don't know. Like, when I saw this, before I knew what had gone on exactly, I just thought, oh, so it's like this is Davros before something. But when it's like this is going to be Davros going forward, I'm like, he doesn't look scary anymore. He doesn't look like literally when Doctor Who had been going 3 or 4 years, like the revived version, and it's like they're bringing Davros back, and you hear a voice, and then the reveal. If it had just been this dude stood there, it's like that isn't scary.
No.
It's Grand Moff Tarkin too. I mean,
Oh my god, yes, he is so many lame people.
So it's Grand Moff Tarkin, Ego Anton, and no, sorry, it's not Davros.
Although I'll say this though, even the first thing I don't think is that scary.
Well, yeah, you would, and you see that and you think, oh, this guy's going to be the most evil man in the history of the universe.
Yeah.
No, he's just some guy picking up an order for the Queen of England.
Yeah, when I first guy like mad scientist vibe all over, I get that. But again, it's not scary. I mean, for the first time I saw him, I laughed at him because he's kind of.
There it is. It's Davros. But what did you think of that little spin-off, David?
Like it was comedic. It was fine for what it was, but it was just a bit silly and frivolous. So, you know, it was for comic relief, so I didn't take it too seriously. The idea, if you haven't seen it, guys, is basically they showed the prototype Dalek, and instead of having the Dave, lean to one side. Oh, you've frozen. Right, instead of having like the it's got like a plunger. It literally looks like a plunger.
Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still there. You're a little bit pixelated.
This thing, yeah, the sucker cup. That one there.
What did you call it?
The sucker cup. It's a sucker cup.
Okay, sucker. Oh no, I thought you said something else.
Okay. Let me get my official Dalek plans out.
Yeah, you do that.
It's called the plunger.
Suction cup, according to TARDIS Wiki. Okay, fair enough. Or another thing calls it a manipulator arm. That's cool.
The manipulator arm, the claw, it can be changed with pretty much anything. There's even a flamethrower
exactly. So
at one point.
it looks like a plunger. And in this story, they'd got some severe-looking claw thing, and the Doctor turns up. He accidentally lands the TARDIS there, and it gets broken. And there's a guy there's like, I'm going to get in so much trouble. And the Doctor's like, oh, I know what to put there, and he sticks a plunger there. Then the Doctor leaves, and then Davros comes in, and he's like, oh, I came up with this new design or something like that. It's so silly. It almost should be non-canon, and possibly they'll say it's non-canon in terms of it was a comic relief thing, because if that is literally the origin of this thing, it wasn't taking it very seriously. But I don't hold it against them on this one. Yeah, Cap.
Although I will ask this, I've only seen 2 episodes of Doctor Who, but isn't the silliness is a part of it? I mean, even with, I would say the scariest thing I would say from the Doctor Who universe is the angels. And even though that part, they covered that as a very scary thing. But, they generally did keep the silly antics of time travel and stuff like that. So isn't that a part of it? Or is it, nothing?
Not to the degree that that thing showed it to. There was an element of silliness to it, but it knew how to balance out the silliness with the serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like TMNT?
No.
No, not at all. But it's like
TMNT in the 2000s.
No, there's no version of it that compares.
Come on.
Because it was like they had they kind of adapted the series as they went. So you had William Hartnell's run from Today 1963, which was educational. Then they tried it as based under siege, Earth-based stories, and they tried so many different things with it to see what would work. But it balanced the seriousness and the seriousness of it all together. They balanced everything out mostly perfectly.
I would say the Ron Atkinson's ones is the best thing I ever seen out of Doctor Who.
Get out.
Which one? What was the best Doctor Who you've ever seen?
I mean, I would give it to the Weeping Angels episode, but the Mr. Bean one, I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, the Ron. You know what? It was fun. It was fun at the time. I don't hold the world against it because again, hang on. Degree. Oh, we've got loads of comments. First Lady has given us loads of comments. I'd love to see a dwarf with a leading role. Well, Peter Dinklage, he often does that. But also, Degrino just said, I'm a few minutes behind, but David cannot seriously be calling Davros a fully functioning being if he needs a chair in order to live. I agree there, Dave. Right, Dave, and David are all arguing with each other over this one. And now...
So,
go on, Jeff.
Was this special? Is it like a one-off thing? Have they done something like it in the past, and it's meant for raising money for kids?
Yeah, like when in the UK we have two big like charity telethon things each year, or one's every couple of years. One is called Comic Relief, and I think you have a version of that out in the States, or at least have done. And another is called Children in Need, and they'll get like BBC will air it, and they'll get some of their television shows to do like a short special based around it, and then at the end it'll be where they say, and raise money, call this number, and that kind of thing, or go online or whatever. And so they've done a few of them. The earliest, there might be one before it, when it was like the 40th anniversary of Doctor Who, like 1993, they did one where it crossed over with a soap opera and was terrible.
Yep.
And then they did one in about 1999, which was the one where Rowan Atkinson and Joanna Lumley and Hugh Grant and Jim Broadbent and Richard E. Grant all played versions of the Doctor. And literally, the Doctor was getting killed every 3 minutes and regenerated again and again.
Yeah.
And then, since the show came back, they have done a few of these. Often it'll be... They did a couple that sort of tied into the end of an actual episode, and then it kind of leaves things off the same way they started. So it's almost like a mini episode that goes into from the previous cliffhanger into the next one. And the best one, unless you can say something different, Dave, was the first time since they did the new version of it in like 2005. They brought back one of the classic Doctors. So
Yeah, I would agree.
something went wrong in time. And so suddenly the fifth Doctor was there at the TARDIS console, and David Tennant was there, and he's like, oh my God, who are you? And Peter Davison, he was so good, he was like, oh my God, I know who you are. And the Doctor's like, yeah, you've realised I'm a future version of you. He goes, you're a fan. And it was funny, and it fit for like comic relief or whatever, but it was also serious, and they've got like really good dialogue in there that's got so much more meaning in the years since. That David Tennant says to Peter Davison, it's like, oh, you were my Doctor. And he's meaning that as that David Tennant grew up watching him. But then, in real life, David Tennant married his daughter. So how about that? Yeah, he got spicy.
So, may I take over this bit?
Yes, go for it, Dave.
So, Georgia Tennant, she was in an episode with David Tennant. That's how they met.
Yeah.
It was like a war story. Yeah. And according to Georgia, David kept asking her out to go to the theatres and that. And she asked Peter, her dad, he keeps asking me out to these theatres and I don't understand why. And Peter Davidson then said, well, it's because he likes you. So now the Doctor is married to the Doctor's daughter.
Yeah, I know, it's so weird. Incest!
Yes!
But, oh my God, I forgot what I was gonna... I was going to get... I would love it if Doctor Who did a crossover with Men in Black, with Back to the Future. I think that would be awesome.
They do reference Back to the Future.
Ooh. I mean,
Yeah, but not as actually existing.
I mean,
not actually existing, but they reference all these movies and that. And then I think the Doctor mentions time travel doesn't work that way. And even, I think it was in Peter Capaldi's era, they mentioned the movie Aliens. And the Doctor says, no, where'd you get this ridiculous idea that aliens are all like that?
Yeah, do you know what? Like, I'm going to show you something which you've probably seen before, but let's bring it up. It looks like it's a really poor version of what I'm going to show you. Opening a new tab. Oh my God, it's so tiny. But still.
We were mentioning the specials thing, but there was also a Christmas episode with William Hartnell in which they actually break, this is the only time they break the fourth wall during an episode.
Wow. And
they turn to the camera and they go, and a Merry Christmas to all of you at home.
Wow, do you know what? I haven't seen that. Okay, guys, check this out. This is the Doc in the TARDIS. Time-travelling Doc Brown.
Whoa,
Christopher Lloyd in the TARDIS. No, I would
I made it,
gladly
Morty.
see that
I
crossover.
finally have the stick. We don't need the car anymore.
I would very happily have that crossover. Just because Back to the
Well, how
Future is just as awesome.
So this one is just for fun, just funny. But how about Doctor Who and Bill and Ted?
Oh my god, I would love that.
It's another telephone box. It's another telephone box.
Go.
So
He could have the Doctor try to explain sliders to everyone.
wait, hang on, wait for it.
Uh-oh.
It wasn't me this
I
time.
did it! Yay! I did it!
I need to make proper graphics for these. Oh my god! Speaking of things that like we can bring up on the screen, I'm going to bring up Brendan Fraser. So. I saw the film. I mentioned this on the show. Oh my god, the show last night, Gerald. I was so tired. I'd had 2 hours sleep the night before. I was literally dying by the end. I was literally dying by the end of it. But I spoke about this film I'd seen, which was Killers of the Flower Moon. Have you seen it, guys? It's a Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro film. It's still at the cinema. Martin Scorsese film. Yeah, it's a Martin Scorsese film. And this is a tiny spoiler, but if you read the credits, then this probably even help you out if you thought that it was a Brendan Fraser movie. Brendan Fraser is in it, but he doesn't show up until the last half an hour. And this thing lasts 3.5 hours long. 3.5 hours long. And literally, as I was watching this, Cap, this is mostly for you here, I was like, Capelthave would be so proud that when this guy turned up. Because when he turns up, he literally steals the scene with his first line. Right? Yeah, absolutely nails it. I won't give you the spoilers for why, but when he comes in with a line, he makes a massive entrance.
Brandon Fraser's a good actor.
He is a good actor.
Well, he can do serious roles, but I enjoy him as the adventure guy. But
yeah, he basically stole, what was it, the second Suicide Squad? He was only in it for like 5 minutes, if that.
Wow, I can't even remember him being in it.
He was Pull Apart Man or Fall Apart Man or whatever, where he yanks his arms off and then he gets blown up.
That was him?
Yeah.
No way. Okay, I barely remember that film other than that I didn't really like it, but I'll have to recheck out that scene.
I would say, David, give that film a rewatch. I think you'll like it.
I do need to give it a rewatch. Like, often with films, like when I first saw Man of Steel, I loved it for the first 40 minutes, and as soon as Jonathan Kent died, it's kind of turned me against the whole film, because I didn't like that whole thing. And when I've watched it since, like, when you know what to expect from a film, if it lets you down in a certain way, you might feel like, oh, I didn't enjoy it and stuff. But then when you know what you're in for, when you watch it again, you might appreciate it for what it is. So I think because like the Suicide Squad, I thought it was what it was, and the second one was meant to be 1,000 times better, and I thought it was actually worse. So I think my perception of it might be
but
super
now you
light.
know it's worse. Maybe, who knows, give it a chance, because you knew the Flash was worse and you liked it.
I know.
The
And
Marvel.
look, the Marvels, when I went in to watch the Marvels, I was like, this is going to be terrible. But because I had learned from the Flash, I was like, everyone says it's going to be terrible, I bet it's not bad. And I thought the Marvels was okay, you know. So
Speaking of that, Wish is actually getting very bad reviews.
ooh, I'm gonna try to see that as well by next week. For the first time in years, guys, I've actually seen the things that we can talk about now.
I haven't.
Alright.
The thing with Wish is that, like, they did that marketing on the short film where they did the anniversary short film. They claimed that, this film was kind of go back to the old standards of Disney and stuff like that. But most of the reviews are saying, like, they botched it. They were doing references, but they can't really capture the magic, or the story isn't all that good.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame. Like, I think it's a problem you've got with films and stuff, where if you're trying to capture a certain feel, you end up just sort of imitating yourself.
Yeah. Disney does that a lot. But in a sense, like, Disney does it, but also it kind of corrects itself, which kind of comes off as not believable. You don't even believe in your own message in a sense, like that. So.
But I would say that, for the last few years we've had, like, the only movie I could say that I watched and I liked from Disney was Encanto, because it had a nice message. There was no, it was not forced down my throat like something like Frozen. And which Frozen is overrated anyway, which apparently celebrates its 10 years today as well.
Wow.
And there's gonna be a 5. Frozen 5 is on the works.
Frozen 5?
Yeah, they've done Frozen 3, now they're working on a 4 and a 5.
Wow.
Seriously.
All from views on Let It Go.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's an irony to that, isn't there?
But I would say that, like, you were saying that they're copying themselves a bit, because the other film I watched was Raya and the Last Dragon, and I just think, well, it's just Moana, but with dragons. It's just the same movie.
It's also with I would say that the same with Encanto, in a sense, like it was kind of one of its like the whole song repertoire kind of going to Lin-Manuel Miranda style. Right now, everything seems like Lin-Manuel Miranda style. I like it because I do enjoy Hamilton, and I did really love Moana. The songs I found in Encanto are nice, but again, it was more like everything's kind of Lin-Manuel arise in Disney right now.
Was Encanto Disney or Disney Pixar?
Disney.
No,
Disney.
It was Disney.
Straight Disney. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that even though it touches on maybe the family aspect of things, but I found that one more original than anything else they've come out with in the last few years.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, it was much more a different take than any other, and it's a different fairy tale. That's why I think it's not like the usual fairy tales that we're aware of. It's kind of a different type of fairy tale.
Which one? Encanto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan. I don't mind Encanto, and I know I've said this about like Pixar in particular, that lots of their things are very convoluted storylines that are hard. They're not just simple. I thought Encanto's was a bit like weird and stuff, and it's like everyone has a door and a magic room in there, and you have to be the same.
Wait, you don't?
No, I don't. Right? But it's just like, why can't something just be simple? Like, there's an ogre, there's a princess. Like, let's just bring back the French angel. And it's just simple. It's just
Which is apparently getting a Shrek 5.
I'm not against that. Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers. It's going to be good.
Also with this Disney, I would say in the 2000s, when you say Disney kind of went to do a sci-fi route, which is something that they never do. But I think the movies that they did with Atlantis and Treasure Planet were just amazing.
But that was the end of Disney. That after that they was like, quick, barnyard animals, and it didn't work. Like nothing brought them back.
No, so the reason why it didn't work, David, because they screwed up their marketing most of the time. Treasure Planet, they released it in the day of Harry Potter's week. So again, that film was meant to bomb if you do that. And with the same thing with Atlantis, because at that time Disney was kind of in a different mood. They did all these amazing work because they gave artists so much freedom and they did so many things with it. But when the films were about to be released, they bought Pixar at that point. They were actually closing the deal with Pixar. So when they did it, they were like, we don't need to actually land these films anymore. We'll just do them and then we'll move to the other 3D animations. So that's what they did. But if you look at those films in the past and it's like video cells, they are classics now in a sense for 2000 kids. And most of the people come up with it. So they make money that modern Disney still.
Well, I would say I agree with you, Cap, in that Disney made a problem with its marketing then, but you have to admit that they're doing the same thing now, especially with like Marvel and Star Wars. They release something, bam, Disney put a label on it and say this is a Disney product. They assume, it's the Disney product. Of course, people are going to go see our movie or our TV show because we made it.
Yeah. Definitely agree.
But I would say the brand recognition for Disney is not as strong as it is in the 2000s, I would say. Right now, Disney's brand is very thin, especially in the international market, I would even say. So Disney does have an image problem, which it does need to deal with.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, is there any other stuff that you guys have seen or react to? We can bring up ChatGPT.
Invincible!
Okay, go for it. Okay, whilst you're talking about Invincible, I'm going to get ChatGPT to prepare a quiz.
Alright, Cap, did you watch the latest episode of Invincible?
Yes, I watched the third episode.
Did you like it?
I like the ending.
Wow.
I can't imagine why. I cannot for the life of me imagine why you would enjoy it so much.
But because I would say season 2 has been a little bit of slow than season 1. So I was kind of like, oh no, it's going to take a while before any of the main stuff happens. They're kind of dabbling in different things, setting things up. So I would say it's a bit taken out a little bit. With episode 3, at the last scene, I think that was I thought they were going to do that probably in like the last episode or anything like that, but they
I thought the same thing. I thought they were going to do that as well. Like have this whole episode, like season 2 of The Walking Dead. They're just going to make this all filler until we get to the good stuff.
Season 2 of The Walking Dead, you thought was filler?
I pretty much thought that most, like, because in the comics and that,
Yeah.
season 2 takes place over like 4 issues, and it's done like really quickly.
Okay.
Like, as soon as Shane's already dead at this point.
Yeah, true.
So I felt season 2 had a lot of filler. They spent way too much time there. But anyway, I thought with Invincible they were going to fall into the same trap. They were going to say, "Oh, we're not going to touch on everything that's coming yet. We're just going to settle everybody down before all the good stuff happens." But I'm glad that they've sort of gone, No, we're going to follow the comics. Let's get on with it.
Because I think that the creator, the same creator for The Walking Dead, right? I've heard.
Yes, it's the same guy.
Yeah,
Robert Kirkman.
he doesn't want like 8 or 9 seasons of Invincible. He wants season 6. He wants to wrap the whole thing in 6 seasons.
Oh wait, Invincible is from the guy that made The Walking Dead?
Yeah, same guy.
Oh, okay, I will watch it then.
David!
What's interesting about him is he was literally, until he had the couple hits with Walking Dead and Invincible, he had other stuff, and this is going probably about 15-ish, maybe closer to 20 years ago. He was sort of floating around. He was sort of not, I wouldn't say mediocre, but was sort of average. And then, like a lightning rod, he hit those 2, and then he's had a bunch of other wins since then. But I mean, he's done very well, and I think he is also the CFO, somebody or another of Image Comics, which is part of where his publication company is part of.
And also, I would say, and the reason why I think they kind of went, season 1 success is mostly Omni-Man, I would say. Everyone kind of liked Omni-Man more than anyone in the show, I would say. And they were like, you know what, Mark is the hero, but it's kind of bland. We can't stretch him out for the whole season.
Well, the thing is, Cap, I think people were hooked on that first episode because of the twist. Because of that twist in episode... I won't spoil it for David, because he doesn't know anything. But that twist in episode 1, that's what hooks people. Technically, Gerald, no.
Oh. I have to read the comic. I've heard of it, but I've not, and I watched the first.
But yeah, I think that hook, that ending to episode 1, that is what hooked people in to go, wait, what? We got to find out more. What the hell is going on?
I would say yes, because like when they gave me the trailer, I was not interested in this cartoon. I was like, it's gonna be a normal, like a Sky High show, because I didn't know about the comics or anything. I saw the first episode, everything was kind of meh, until that last one. I was like, oh, I gotta see this.
Here you go. This will actually pique your interest. I think. I don't know if you know about this. When Invincible met Spider-Man.
Oh yes, I know about this.
Wait, how is that possible if they're different comic brands?
So there's a whole. It's explained more in Invincible. There's a whole multiverse and a parallel universe thing. Is one of Invincible's adventures is where he goes into like different universes where he meets all these different heroes. So he does meet Spawn, Todd McFarlane's Spawn, and he meets. I don't know if he's going to be in the series, but and he met Spider-Man, and they actually had a battle with Dr. Octopus together, in which. I think it was Invincible broke Dr. Octopus's arm, like his actual arm, and Spider's like, dude, if you punch him really hard, you're going to break him in half.
You guys don't do that?
Is that you don't do that here?
Okay, so guys, first of all, I've missed so many comments tonight. First Lady says, Disney is losing money left and right these days. Disney Plus has never made a profit. That's insane. Yep. Isn't it also true that Netflix always loses billions of dollars because they're always spending more than they make?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know how these things are ever going to work.
Well, my thing is like something like Cobra Kai, because that series is nearly done.
I know.
And
Oh my god! I saw. There is a like a TikTok video came up a couple of days ago, and it's the guy who plays LaRusso stood with Jackie Chan saying they're making a new
Yes.
Karate Kid movie together.
Yes, I've seen that picture.
I am all
Wow.
over that. I am definitely. Look,
Yeah.
I haven't watched the Karate Kid film with Jackie Chan and Will Smith.
It's good, David. It's really good.
Yeah, I do want to see it. Like, but I'm like old school Karate Kid. Cobra Kai is one of my
Yeah.
favorite shows of all time. So if they're bringing these worlds together, I will watch it. And then I love Jackie Chan stuff generally anyway. So I'm all up for seeing whatever they come up with that.
Although I'm not sure how Jaden Smith would fit in.
He's not going to.
Here's the thing, Kat, because he doesn't know karate, he knows kung fu.
I know,
Yeah.
like that. When
Also,
that whole thing.
Also,
you're gone.
here's the thing. Kung Fu, there's a martial artist who lives in China, MMA guy actually get this. Kung Fu means actually great skill, not a specific martial art. Because in China, they have like 400 or something different types of martial art. And they're not all packaged in a package called Kung Fu. Kung Fu literally means great skill. So,
Oh, that's cool.
that's
But he still just knows kung fu. It's not karate. Had Jackie Chan taught Jaden Smith's character karate and he beat up the kung fu kids, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Jackie
But he
Chan
didn't.
opened
But he
his own
didn't.
body.
But like, okay, so clearly when they were making that movie, they looked at Jackie Chan. They were like, "Look, you're getting a bit older. We want you for like Mr. Miyagi."
Mr. Miyagi.
And he was like, "Well, look, you know, you're gonna have to rename this the Kung Fu Kid because I think they actually did say that at one stage." And then probably their marketing guys were like, "No, we're calling this the Karate Kid because otherwise, why are we making this film?" Right. But okay, so guys,
I would say that's one of the few films where Jackie Chan actually gets to do a dramatic role in Western films, because like he doesn't get to do that. He does that in this Karate Kid.
wait, you're saying it's not a comedy?
It is. It has comedic elements, but Jackie
I'm out.
Chan is a
I'm
much
out.
more-
Like,
Sorry.
yeah.
No, it's a good film, David. I think you'll like it.
No, I think I will as well.
It does actually make him use his other skills. I think there's also another film called Foreigner that also has Jackie Chan in a very dramatic action role. It's still an action film, but it's a dramatic action film. I think Jackie Chan's a very good actor. He can actually make you cry if he wants to.
Okay. So, guys, I have some questions for you. Because we need to work out who is the Geek of the Week today. I asked ChatGPT for questions about science fiction TV shows. And basically, I'll tell you what the show is, and if no one has seen it at all, then we will move on to the next one. So, Farscape. Who has seen Farscape? Okay, we'll move on. In Stranger Things. If you haven't seen it, then what can I do? What is the name of the parallel dimension?
Strange Dimension.
No!
Oh,
The Upside Down.
Yes, Gerald, you get the point. Is the
Damn it,
upside
Gerald.
down. Right. Okay, moving on. We're on a roll now, guys. Let's have a look. So, which sci-fi series features a character named Captain Malcolm Reynolds and his crew aboard the spaceship Serenity?
Beep.
Gerald
Firefly.
is the correct answer. Oh, Gerald, you've got them on the ropes. In Doctor Who,
yes. I'm ready.
okay. What did the Doctor have to name? Oh wait, am I asking this question correctly? What did the Doctor have to name
making
his
it up now?
spaceship?
And what?
But
Have to name his spaceship. Okay.
But-
Cap.
the TARDIS.
I'm going to give you a point, but Dave, can you get the true answer?
The ship.
Yeah.
It's the ship.
No, it's not. Look. In the episode where the Doctor literally meets...
Oh, yes, I know the answer.
Go on.
Sexy.
There we go. Okay, the question it actually asks, I had to just change that question. It says, what is the real name of the Doctor's time machine, the TARDIS? And then the answer says, it has no real name. It's like, what's the point of asking that question, then?
Well, it's not wrong in that regard. But yeah, the TARDIS does say, well, "Call me sexy."
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I adapted it.
Call it sexy.
It literally, there's a whole story behind it. But yeah, the TARDIS just says, "Well, call me what you always call me, sexy."
Okay,
Nice.
so the reason for that,
naughty AI.
tiny spoiler, there is one episode where the TARDIS takes on like a humanoid form, and it's a great. I like that episode. Okay,
Does the
Is it
dog
sexy?
look good?
it is.
It is.
Yeah. Okay, which actor played the character Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek: The Next Generation? Dave?
Patrick Stewart.
Oh, sorry, you didn't wait for the full question.
Buzz.
Spin. Yeah, okay, Cap.
Spin off. Chris Pine.
No. I'll ask the full question, Gerald. This is only open for you now. Which
have
actor
no
played
clue.
the character Captain Jean-Luc Picard in the Star Trek: The Next Generation spin-off film Star Trek Nemesis?
Buzz.
Cap.
William Shatner.
No. Okay, guys, I'm going to give you the answer. Dave, I am going to give you a point because you had answered the actual question. I was just adapting it again. Tom Hardy played the younger version of Jean-Luc Picard in that film.
That was gonna be my next guess.
Yeah.
So wait, was he like? Oh, so we're going to fire photon torpedo.
No, but basically, okay, the story, I've told this story before. When I first saw The Dark Knight Rises, and because I'd heard that, when Tom Hardy speaks, he's like Kenny in South Park, he's too muffled. So basically, I can imagine that Tom Hardy and Chris Nolan were so pissed off, no offence, Gerald, that Americans couldn't understand what he was saying with his accent. That he was like, well, just give them some Patrick Stewart then, because literally he'd played Patrick Stewart. So I was like, you have my permission to die. And literally, it's just, I was like, why is Bane, he's like this, and he sounds like Jean-Luc Picard?
Now that you say that, yeah, that's exactly
It's
right.
Well, because you can imagine, like, I served Ra's al Ghul with tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Yeah. Right. Anyway.
Well, the thing that's interesting about Bane is from a South American country, supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why the hell would he have a British accent?
It's because they were pissed
Well,
off
you know,
that people
there are
couldn't
some
understand the trailer.
there are some South American British people, you know.
Yeah, that one I always weird.
I think Tom Hardy was also a weird choice for me. I mean, Kristen Bale is like a foot taller, I think, than Tom Hardy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, here's another question for you though. In the television show V, both the 1983 and 2009 versions, what were the name of the alien species in V?
V.
Yeah.
V for Vendetta?
No. I'll tell you because I don't think you're going to get it. It's the Visitors. The Visitors, apparently. So,
V.
yeah, how about that? Right, I don't know
That
most of
explains
these
my
things.
childhood trauma when they would say, "Oh, you got visitors coming, run!"
When they would peel their skin off their face and stuff.
I literally don't know any of these shows, so we're going to give up. Right, okay, what was the name of the character played by David Duchovny in The X-Files?
Beep. Agent
Gerald.
Mulder.
Sorry?
Agent Mulder.
I'll accept. Can anyone tell me his first name?
Steve.
Steve Mulder. No, weirdly, it was Fox. It was Fox. Okay, guys. So, changing direction a little bit because there's a couple of things. Look, Marty isn't here today, and that's a shame. But it means that if we wanted to, we could mention a video game or two. So, I've got a couple of things just like to cover. It may be something that you're not aware of. Who here has an Android phone? Just out of interest. Anyone got an Android phone? Android. Gerald, iPhone. You got a dial, haven't you?
No, he's an American. He has an iPhone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have an iPhone.
Okay. So you unfortunately, Gerald,
My wife's
you may have to wait a little while on this. But one of the interesting stories, which I have mentioned on the show before, is that there was a platform that came out in the 1980s, or maybe late 70s, called the Intellivision. And it was like the rival to Atari, like I had the mini Atari here. And the Intellivision were going to have a news console released. And they announced this in about 2016 or 18 or something like this. and it seemed like they scammed a load of people out of like crowdfunding it and everything, and it never came out. And it could, like 2 years ago, it all completely collapsed. But earlier this week, they released a version of it, so you can't actually get the physical console, but you can basically download the console on an Android tablet. It will come later onto iPhone, and you can play it. There are a couple of games that you can download through it. But here's where it gets interesting, and I'm going to attempt to demonstrate this to you guys here, because it fits how hilariously weird this whole story is and always has been. If I can bring it up, the whole thing, to be able to use it, I'll bring it up here so you can see it.
What a big Android phone.
This isn't a phone, this is a tablet, and you'll see why in a second. Because to be able to use this thing, look, Intellivision Amico is what it's called. So this is their solution so that people can play their console. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, this is being such a son of a bitch. Right, 1 second. Let's just see if I can do this. 1 second, I have to put in a password.
1, 1, 1.
It's going to take me longer to do it if I can't concentrate.
I think it's probably Marty McFly. Or
Okay,
Sliders.
will this work?
Password.
Oh my
is
god,
Sliders.
incorrect password. 1 second. Let me do this properly. So
It is Sliders.
this is such a pain in the butt to
We
get
need,
going.
we need to stop talking.
Continue,
We can't distract David from doing this password.
Right, so look, here we go. To be able to use this thing, look, my green screen's going to mess it up. You need to have 2 phones, basically, to be able to use this one thing. So you have like a tablet or a phone that you want to watch the thing on, and then you need another separate one to be the controller as a separate app. You have to have 2 devices to be able to play this thing.
What's the point of that?
I know! It's absolutely insane. So then once you do it, look, and also, because they were so determined that they're going to release this as a console, it comes up there, you won't really be able to see it. It says My Games, and it has a shop. And when you go onto the shop...
Oh, it looks like PlayStation.
Well, it might do. Like, I don't know, right? Oh shit, I can't even operate this thing. Go up.
That's
Okay,
why you need
okay.
the extra phone.
Well, I'm trying to do it like to one side.
You know, because God forbid you use the one screen to poke what you need.
But here's the thing. So you have to buy the games through its store. Each of the individual games could have been a separate download on the Google Play Store. They make you have 2 phones, so then you can buy games through a menu. And it's like, why can't they just be one thing? It's like the most complicated thing that I've literally ever come up against. And then I've already done a review on the Geek Battle Gaming YouTube channel, but you wait until you see this. This literally took about 5 years to come out. So you see this when you see it. Yeah, this took 5 years to come out. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. If you can see it. It is literally
that
like
Space
asteroids.
Invaders?
It is like Space Invaders.
Oh, it's Asteroid.
Yeah, it's like that. So asteroids come down.
No, Missile Command.
Oh, this is Missile Command, you're right, yeah. So literally you just point and shoot at these aliens. No,
But
they're
you
missiles
need to-
coming down. And then there's another
5
one.
years.
That's just asinine. that you
5
need
years
to separate-
since 2018. Only
Yeah,
game
yes.
you have is that.
It took...
Why the hell can't you just touch the screen and...
I know. It's just, it's absolutely
That's crazy.
ridiculous. But I
Well,
got it.
the answer to that, Gerald, is simple. Because they just want everything to be needlessly complicated.
So, I think what it is they probably have a agreement with the hardware company so that they can make more money. So they're like, hey, what if we make
No, this is the thing.
thing so that you need 2 devices to play?
Well, this is the thing. The hardware company is them, and they have failed. They raised millions of dollars that like people paid in advance to get the console, and then they spent it on nonsense, and so then they didn't have money to actually make the actual console. And so about a year and a half ago, they said that they would basically going to make these themselves and send out to backers. And when you go on their website, you could order, and I've ordered about 15 of these things because they made it so that you didn't have to pay. But when you order, it would come up with an order number, which I realised were in sequential number. And in about a 3-month period last year, they sold about 15 consoles. So it didn't do well. I'm going to bring up, because I did do a review of this game, which Missile Command, you're right. So I'll bring it up so you can see it, and you'll see my lovely face on occasion. But just so you can get a sense, look, it's me. So you can see the game. This is basically the game. So what you're seeing in the middle there is the controller. But otherwise, it took them like 6 years to make this.
I don't understand. I mean, other than the nicer graphics,
yeah,
what an absolute waste.
I mean, look, at the beginning, I do show what this is what the original looked like. That's what the original looked like.
But that was like in television. It was supposed to look shit.
Yeah. And then what they came up with was this.
Did it too, yeah.
What's this excuse?
I don't know. Now, as it actually turns out, I'm going to full fairness here. It's very fun on the internet in television Amico community to poke fun at it, and it's kind of it is earned. But when it actually came to it, the game is fun to play. It's not something that you think should take 6 or 7 years to produce.
Dave, like there are tons of free games on Android that look so much better than this,
and
they're for free.
And guess how much this costs?
How much?
Have a guess. To download on your
$10.
Android phone. How much, Gerald?
Free.
Free. $11.99 or something like this. It was like insane. I got it because I wanted to review it, basically, and I've been following this story for like 5 years, and I was like, I have to finally get my hands on this. Getting this thing set up was a nightmare.
Invested in this.
Oh, like loads of
Setting
people
it up
have
was a
invested.
nightmare?
Yeah. But yeah,
Okay,
so
let me see the game. Let me see the game, okay? So you get this phone, and then you point.
I know. It's all crazy. Like the crazy thing with the controller is it was going to have a unique controller. Now, again, if I'm getting too much into like the gaming geekiness of it, bear with me 1 second.
Has he got the actual Intellivision controller?
Oh, I do have an actual Intellivision, but the thing is, an actual Intellivision controller is for the original is hardwired to the console. So I can show you, but you're going to have to bear with me because I've got all kinds of stuff on top of it.
Doesn't it look a little bit like the? I know it's slightly different, but doesn't it look a little bit like the Nintendo, the original Nintendo pad?
No, not especially. I'll show you. So look, guys, this is the original Intellivision. Okay,
Look at that thing.
so it's big and lumbering.
Oh,
The controller looks like an old telephone. So it's got a numeric number pad, and then it got this disc. Now the fun thing about this disc is this predates the D-pad. So most like Atari had like a joystick sort of thing, and so that in a sense was kind of innovative, and it got buttons on the side and stuff like this. And the new version of the controller for the Intellivision Amico was meant to look kind of like this with a circle pad, buttons on the side, but instead of a number pad, it has a touch screen, which, as we'll all remember, or maybe not, the Wii U had a touch screen, and it flopped. It flopped really hard. And so the thing that they were closest to emulating was that you'd have a controller that got a circle pad, a couple of buttons, and then this touch screen. And as you're trying to play the game using this, so what would you think? You see the D-pad here, or like the circle, you'd think you'd be using that to move where you're aiming or move your spaceship or something. On Missile Command, you use this button literally just to fire your rockets, and then you're using this square to use it like a mouse pad of where you're aiming. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world, but using a touchscreen controller isn't as precise as a proper controller. So they made something that was needlessly complicated, and then it kind of buried them because over the years when they were showing it places, there was terrible input lag and stuff like this. And then in the end, they never solved it. And so at the moment, even though they've launched this, what they've said, honestly, this week, is that they still need financial backing if they're going to release the actual console. Or maybe the funds from selling this game will make it so they can release the console. It's like, we saw that game. We just watched that. That's not going to sell enough consoles to actually finance a console.
£12. Yeah.
Yeah. So...
I mean, when did this start? When did this start, like, this whole thing?
I'd have to look it up to know precisely, but probably about 2018. Like, the indie console stuff, like, I don't know, like, Cap, I know you're, like, a PC gamer. Dave, Gerald, what sort of, how would you describe yourself as a gamer in terms of, like, what you're into in that?
I've gotten away from it, so I just basically do tablet stuff, but I just recently did get a Xbox X, so...
Nice.
I haven't set it up, and then I when I was really into it was Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PS1, PS2, and that's sort of where I was at. I never really did too much with the PC stuff.
Okay. Catchphrase. Go on, Dave.
I'll say that I have an Xbox and a PC, and I do some of my, like, the moment I'm doing my gaming on my Xbox. I'm playing Grounded at the moment. It's a really fun game. But I also have it for my PC, which will be on the Dave MC YouTube channel at some point. But I would say the majority of my gaming would be on PC. So I am quite a PC gamer. So I do know quite a lot of the indie stuff. I do support independent creators.
Well, the thing that particularly, like, interests me a lot, like, I love so much gaming. Not everything. Like, there's so many games nowadays where it's like, this is going to take 70 hours to beat. I'm like, I literally can't. So in that regard, having some of these, like, retro style games, it's like, yeah, this is a game which you can play for an hour and you've seen a lot of it. So, like, yeah. I have just gone and I've done a review of a re-release version of the original Atari, and it's cool and stuff like that. And I think I've shown this on this stream before. There's a new mini console thing called a Playdate, and the fun thing about this, if you haven't seen it, is it has a crank. So literally, you control games with this crank on the side. And so
when does the man come out of the top?
Well, literally, it's got really cool graphics. I wouldn't probably be able to show it on here. But it's got all kinds of stuff. It's like, okay, so what can you do with a crank in a game? And that's kind of like the concept of it. But this Intellivision thing, it was from 2017 and announced in 2018. And then literally at the very end of 2023, they've managed to force out a couple of games. The reason it's not on iOS yet probably is because they haven't figured out the technology. But they were probably like, we've got to get something out before 2024. Otherwise, people will say that nothing came out in 6 or 7 years or whatever it's been now.
But I can't believe people are still making games like, I know there's Candy Crush in mobile, so that's not a very high game. But I would say, like free stuff alone, you get, like, games with stories and stuff like that now. It's almost like, consoles in a sense for Android. So I don't get, like, point shoot games.
But I would say Cap. And I think, I don't know if Gerald would agree, but I know David would agree with this. There is nothing more special than sitting in a dark room with the blue screen of, like, a Nintendo or an Atari game just sat in the dark room with the light of the TV as you're trying to find the bloody channel that the game's plugged into.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so one of the other things with this new Atari that's just come out, they put out this game. It's called Mr. Run and Jump. I'm going to show you it because I also did a review on the gaming version of the channel. This is the graphics, and this is actually quite a good game. Look at that! So you say about, like, the blue screen or what have you, like, literally it's like that. And actually, if I can show you what is the final level of the game, it is insanely hard because the platforms are black, the background is black, you can't see where you're going, and it's a fun game for what it is, but it knows what it is. It's not going to beat The Witcher, so
But I would say this though, like, when we, like, get trapped, like, even with our childhood, right? I would still play games if it just had The Witcher. Like, Red Dead Redemption 2 I played, it had better graphics than Witcher. But I would say if it still had the Witcher graphics, I would still play it. That was like, I don't care. That is still okay for me. And, like, I think...
Wait, hang on, Kat. Are you saying the bar is like, if it looks like The Witcher, that's still okay for me? Right?
He said it. He said it.
It just looks like The Witcher. I'm fine with it. So I think we get trapped in our armor. We go, like, this is as good as it gets when we have in our mind. I think that when that feels like anything better is just like, yeah, you can add it if you want to. But I would say it's even bad for my PC.
I guess it depends on the game, because like I go back to my all-time favorite Zelda is the original Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Hands down, that is my favorite one. I mean, there's others I like and enjoy, and not to take away from them, but like the gameplay and the functionality and everything, like that is sort of the sweet spot. And again, was sort of my age when I was playing games and stuff. I really like the old Mario. Yeah, I like the old Mario as well, Mario Brothers. But the graphics, in some cases they're much improved and better, but other times like that Missile Command, like the graphics are awesome on it, but the functionality and everything is identical, and it's like, did it really need all that to look pretty?
Well, here's one of the interesting things, especially when it comes to Zelda, is they did on the GameCube Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and people went crazy because it looks like a cartoon. And people were like, you showed a trailer that looked like Lord of the Rings, what are you doing? So then they were like, oh shit, no one liked that. So the next one, Twilight Princess, looks like Lord of the Rings. And it's aged horribly. Whereas the one that looked like a cartoon literally never ages now. And so when they've done like the Switch ones, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, they kind of made the whole thing kind of look like a colour painting. And it's just an art style choice. It will always work. Where it's like, if you play like old FIFA or Madden or WWE games and stuff like that, some of them look horribly aged and stuff. Whereas at the time it's like, oh my god, it's got photorealistic graphics. And stuff that goes for photorealism always ages. It's like even when on movies, like when you go back and watch the original Jumanji, like the CGI on that is painful to watch.
I would say, again, you get trapped in, I mean, like, there's as a kid, you set yourself the thing, because most of the time you're not able to afford it, or you can't have it. So you're like, okay, if I play this is my life in a sense. And then when you do it, you're like, okay, I'm set for life. If this keeps happening, I'm just okay. I don't care about new upgrades anymore. Because, like, I would say, even the Baldur's Gate 3, everyone loved Baldur's Gate 3. I saw Baldur's Gate 3, and it was tiny people, and I was like, I would love to play this because the story seems great, but I can't play with tiny people. Okay, I'm used to playing with...
But in that regard, Cap, it's mostly for like Dungeons and Dragons players, where you are on top watching little figures move around, so you feel like you are playing a Dungeons and Dragons game.
But I would love it. I would love it if they just make the character a bit like The Witcher, so I can see around the world and stuff. Because like I hate them why you have to like click attack and then point it towards someone, other than just immersing it in the action.
Yeah, what's interesting with that is for me, I tried to buy some of the more like what do they call them, first-person shooters, and I just cannot do them. They make me motion sick.
Oh my god, Gerald! Like you may get used to it within time. I used to be exactly the same, and I might be able to give you a tip on that. I might be able to. I'll give this tip now. Oh no, let me.
You don't have to run with it, Gerald. When you push forward, you don't have to get up and run with them. You know?
I literally I'm talking back to like the 1990s, like when it was like first like Doom and like Half-Life. I have never played because it made me feel ill.
You never played Half-Life 2 or the original?
The original. I haven't played any of them, to be honest, because the first one made me feel so ill. Because I felt motion sick from the gameplay style. But what I realised, and I think at the time these were sort of like new kind of games, Doom, Wolfenstein were like new ideas, and you see this, and it was pixelated graphics and everything. But I had a Sega Dreamcast, and I got Quake 3 Arena on it, and I felt so sick. And you know how on a game controller, look, I don't have all I've got is like Atari shit around me. I don't have an actual game controller. But you know how like there'll be two sticks, whereas any game controller. Okay, so like this, I can use this. This is what you click your phone onto. You'll use like the left stick, and it will move your character forward, backwards, sidestepping, and then the right one will change the direction you're looking.
Yep.
They didn't invent that for a few years. So like when you played GoldenEye on the N64, it only had one stick, and even like some of the early stuff, they hadn't worked out this control method. And so, trying to control stuff, I think it was too much for my brain to process. And so, if you use a PC, or if you and you use a keyboard and mouse, and if you don't get on with it, try using a game controller. If you use a game controller and you don't get on with it, try different control methods, because I think the motion sickness comes from that your brain is trying to adjust to it.
Yep.
And you need to, you need to sort of fight through a little bit so that you get used to the swinging camera angle and all that. But also so that it's like, well, if my hands are coordinating here or keyboard and mouse is coordinating there, you just need to find which one lets you take that baby step in. Because it took me a few years to work out where I was suffering with it.
And that's fair, because I picked up BioShock. I had heard good things about it, so I picked up that, and I tried to play it for an hour or two, and I just felt nauseous after it. Like the original Doom, I was able to play fine, and some of the other ones. But what's interesting is like what Cap was saying about he can't deal with those little characters. Those are the ones I love. So like I've not played the new Baldur's Gate 3, but I probably would do very well with it because it sounds like it's very similar to, I don't remember if it was Baldur's Gate 2 or the original Baldur's Gate, but it sort of had that setup. So like for me, like I like my favorite games that I play are Diablo, and I have not played the most recent one, the 4, but like the character's about yay big to the screen, that works better for me, whereas like being in there and moving around is just, it's very rough for me. So
I would also say that for David, I would say there's this meme with Omni-Man, with PC players looking at console players having that pad they can move around and say, look at what they have to do to mimic our power, because you just look with the mouse.
So Cap, do you use keyboard? Do you use keyboard?
But do you have a fancy mouse?
But a keyboard
I think
is digital. It doesn't have, like, it's not got analog control.
Dave, so easy. WASD, this is all you need, okay? 3 fingers.
What? But there's a Q in it. There's like loads of other buttons around it. How do you keep your hand even in place?
You have other fingers. They can reach other places.
I would say Cap does not speak for all PC players, because for me it depends on the game. Because I play survival games, as I say, I'm playing Grounded at the moment. I will use a keyboard because on the Xbox I have to press all these random buttons where I can just go, oh no, I need an axe, press 1. I need a sword, press 2. But for something like Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption, I will go, right, let's break out the controller. I can multitask and do it with the controller. Some games are designed for the controller and some are designed for the keyboard. Not the other way around, Kappelthev.
Okay, guys.
Dave, think about Red Dead Redemption, Witcher 3. With the mouse, you just point and the guy turns to wherever you're looking. Okay, it's so easy. But
but you see, Cap, and I can't believe you haven't figured this out yet. I'm old. And I like a controller.
Okay, on that note, guys, we are going to have to wrap it up because we are overlapping the time which is meant to be Extreme Improv Xstreamed. But we will continue this. We will continue this. So we will get Kappelthev to use a controller at some point. Look, Cap, as we all say, with great mustache comes great responsibility. So you've got to be a pillar of the community now and use a controller. So let's find out where we can find everyone. In fact, Gerald, you're this week's Geek of the Week with your answers to those questions, so congratulations. Kappelthev, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Swatties, where I sing, I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I grow mustaches. No, not really. You will never see me with a mustache on Swatties.
I want to see time-lapse of that.
Time-lapse, like, yes.
There's a new video about Hindu mythology. It's me reacting to Mythology Guide Part 2. There's a lot of fun sketches, and me reacting to them, giving you a bit of info, and also making a lot of jokes. So go check that out. And also you can find me on here on numerous shows.
Okay, so just before we go to anyone else, Gerald, you gave me an idea. Now, it'd be hard to do like a time-lapse of like a mustache growing, unless someone was in a coma in hospital. And I know this is a bit dark, but if they were laying there, literally, and you could just time-lapse it 24 hours a day, you'd be able to see how a mustache grew. But like, if it's just like, here's my photo the next day, like within 3 days it'd be there. You need to have 24 hours a day filming for that. On that note, Gerald, hang on, Dave, where can the people find you?
You can find me here on Xstreamed Improv as well, doing various shows like Geek Battle and Xstreamed Improv. You can find me on my social media, Dave MC 1993. Check out my YouTube channel as well, Dave MC, where I do Star Wars gaming videos. They go up every Saturday. Keep an eye out for a new video with SWAT Deeds himself, Capital Theb's mustache. We are working on a project together, and I can't wait to work on it.
Okay, our Geek of the Week, Gerald, where can the people find you?
Since I'm now told that I was pointing in the wrong space, right here at on Instagram, Gerald Geek, and also on Geek Battle typically, and sometimes on Xstreamed Improv. And then also, again, shout out to everybody else here. Make sure to check out their stuff. Cap has an awesome video about Sleepy Hollow, and Dave has an awesome scary video about a video game called Tiny Bunny. And then obviously David has a multitude of things everywhere, so make sure to check them out.
He does?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So my name is David Stansky. The main thing I'll say for you guys to check out is do check out the Geek Battle Gaming YouTube channel. I hardly ever promote it because I don't live stream on it. I should do, and also get any of my books. Now, with that, from me, from everyone else, stay safe, always stay extreme, live long and prosper, and ciao for now. Boom! And we are officially